Hey guys, welcome. This is going to be a first on the channel. This is basically a tutorial and a class setup for LeatherFace on Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I hope you enjoy this. I'm going to be making further videos on the other family members. So let's go to LeatherFace. Okay, so for his main ability, you're going to go middle, then to the left, and then to the middle again on top. Middle is going to give you stalling resistance, left is going to reduce your overheat, and the top is going to give you instant activation of the chainsaw. For the first perk, you want Blood Banker. This is going to increase your max storage so that when you kill somebody, you'll gain even more blood to feed to Grandpa. Next, you want 2-cycle charge, which is going to increase your stamina every time you rev, and then Rough Cut, which is basically going to add more damage for consecutive hits. And Brute Strength, which will increase melee damage for all your family members, so I think that's overall really good. Now we're going to get into actually how to play LeatherFace. So what you want to do is start up this chainsaw. You got to do a little mini game for that by pressing X. If you're on X, PlayStation is going to be a different button. You can collect blood at these little blood sacks here, and that's how you get. You can either get blood that way or by killing victims to feed Grandpa. Okay, so you can actually destroy doors using your chainsaw, of course, and that will permanently remove the door from, well, the things. If you see a little wedge here, you can actually thrust your chainsaw into it to try and get survivors. It doesn't work that well, so I highly suggest you don't do it. It's just a waste of time. If a victim goes through there, really just try and go around, maybe find a different direction to them to kill them. Alright, those bone traps, here's another bone, never mind that. And they've woken up Grandpa, so this basically means that they've either were too loud or they've gotten out of the basement. Revving your chainsaw makes it so that you can do more damage on an attack. The higher you rev the chainsaw, the more damage you do, but the more likely it is to overheat, and if it overheats, you gotta start it back up, which just sucks. So that's what those main perks are for. I'm trying to find a little hatch to show y'all how LeatherFace can destroy some stuff. Yep, here we go. So you see these little hatches, survivors can actually crawl under them, and that's bad, but LeatherFace with his chainsaw, he can permanently block them, which is helpful for your team and for you. So that allows for less ways for the survivors to go. I got my friends in the lobby here to be little guinea pigs for this level. Okay. In the basement, there's going to be lots of blood bags to get. And LeatherFace is the only character in the family that spawns in the basement. Every other character in the family will spawn upstairs. So this is kind of an advantage for LeatherFace because he can maybe get in a quick few kills. As you can see, I'm not trying to kill them. I'm just trying to show y'all how to play LeatherFace. But if I was LeatherFace right now, they'd be dead. You can turn on these lamps, but they can get trapped by survivors like that. They'll stun you. But what that does, it just makes it easier to find survivors. It just makes light. Alright, I'm trying. Oh, here we go. Here's a pallet. So these pallets can be used by survivors, and not one single family member can go through them. But LeatherFace can destroy them with his chainsaw, like this. And boom, now you never have to worry about it again. And they can't use it. So what you want to do is basically just go around the map and try and find as much stuff for that as possible. So when you hit somebody, it's going to give you some blood. If you rev up your chainsaw really high, it'll overheat like that. It'll say chainsaw stalled, and you're gonna have to wait for it to basically cool down before you can start it back up. Then you're gonna have to do the mini game again. But if you get the instant activation perk, like as I told you, you won't have to do this mini game every time you start it up. It's just gonna be an instant startup, and then you can go right back to killing all the victims. Okay. By the way, the more you rev your chainsaw, the faster you get. So as you can see, I'm chasing Leland here. I'm getting even faster the more he will basically go into a little run, and as you can see, I revved my chainsaw up really high, so I got an insta-kill on him after he was hit once. So when you're in a chase and you know you're gonna get a hit on him, you want to rev up your chainsaw as much as possible to get as much damage as possible. But warning, when you rev it up too much, your guy will basically go into a sprint, and if you're a little too close, it makes it kind of unpredictable on how to hit the survivors. By the way, when you open these sheet metal doors, they'll make lots of sound, and remember to lock them on the way back, because if you my language ain't doing too well today, but if you don't lock the doors back, survivors can go through them, and that creates an advantage for them. So you always want to lock sheet metal doors on the way back from an area, or if you're trapping somewhere or anything. So that door just said open. That means that the survivors have unlocked that lock, and there can never be a lock in that door again in the game. Now we're inside the house. It says Grandpa's in danger. That means he's been stabbed by a survivor with a bone shard, and that's not good. Leatherface, he's really just an offensive character. I highly suggest not looking for blood too much unless you just have spare time. Because if you kill survivors, it raises you to your max blood, and that's what the blood banker perk is for. It basically just raises your max blood, and the more max blood you have, the more you'll get for killing somebody. And since Leatherface's main purpose is to kill people and destroy obstacles, every time you kill somebody, you're going to get more blood for Grandpa, which means, you know, you're more likely to succeed in killing all the victims. Alright. These wells, players can actually hop down and go back into the basement, but every time they hop down, they will take damage, so that's not very good. We're playing on house right now. There's pressure gates, there's fuses, there's lots of different ways for the victims to escape, but that's not your main purpose as Leatherface. Really, just your main purpose as Leatherface is to just destroy pallets, destroy hatches, help your teammates have more accessibility to the map and chasing survivors, and just kill dudes. Your goal is not to get blood, it's to just kill dudes and destroy obstacles. And in my opinion, that's the best way to go about killing and just playing Leatherface. Now let's see if I can find any more survivors. By the way, going through those little hanging bones will create noise whether you're a victim or Leatherface or any type of family member. So you want to try not to be too loud. And the fact that when you're like in the basement hunting down survivors, you want to try not to hit the bone chimes as often. Maybe avoid them, because it's going to tell the victims where Leatherface is in the basement. You can actually get a special kill on the gallows, but I can't really show it to y'all because another one of your family members has to down a victim, and then Leatherface will basically carry a victim to the hooks, also known as the gallows, and he'll basically do the kill that you see at the beginning of each match by Leatherface. And I think that's a really cool and nice feature for Leatherface. Alright, let's try and find some other survivors. I think there's only like 2 left to kill, but they're probably trolling somewhere and probably stabbing Grandpa. You want to protect Grandpa as much as possible, because he's providing all your blood or all your info. Basically, he screams, and if anybody's moving during that scream, he will detect them. But at level 5, if anybody's moving, he basically will detect them no matter what, even if they are standing still. So yeah, that's about all. That covers about it on Leatherface. If you want to see more of these videos, please like and subscribe and comment any other people you want to see, whether victims or family. I thank you for watching the video, and I hope you have a great and blessed day. Goodbye.